Not a pleasant sunny afternoon. Year of our Lord 2015, September the 17th. Only a short walk today. Oops, the cloud just up there. Cloud, I spoke too soon. The cloud was passed over the sun. There's a good view of the Rinnog Range. Hardly in the shadow, hardly in sun. Only a short walk today, or shorter than I normally do. Down this lane for a mile or so, and there's a very quiet lane down here. It passes it passes actually 3 houses in the next mile or so. But I think very few people, I can't ever remember seeing a car drive up this lane. There's a hidden away former farmhouse just a couple of 100 yards in front of me, hidden away in this, well, very, very quiet location. It was occupied 12 years ago when I first came here by, I presume, a long-time resident, but he must have passed away, and then it was empty for a while. But I think I've actually already covered that on a previous video. The trees are still pretty well in full leaf. No, not too much sign yet of them turning cover. There's the distant view of the Cardigan Bay. It's quite a clear day today. There's that house. It's not people there, of course. There's the original farm buildings. I'll continue down this very quiet lane for about a mile or so, and there you can. I'll just come down. That mountain over there in the to the right, what's a hill in the middle distance. That's where I'll be walking to the top of that and have a little look at there's a hill fort on the top, but it's not it's not very well defined. Signs of civilization. Footpath sign. This is typical Welsh oak, scrub oak. Now I'll just take a short diversion. This is actually a right away just for a few yards up to this cottage. I doubt if there's anyone there. Cody Bachel, or Bachau. As our isolated cottages go, this is pretty isolated, although it's only a couple of miles, of course, from the main road here. I'm pretty sure there's no one at home, but there is a right-of-way that goes right past here. I've gone along there once. Up there, that's a right-of-way. That's the cottage. There's a good view of that hill with the, well, barely could make out, but there is a hill fort on the top. And here's these coming up to the silo towers, which have a surreal like atmosphere out here in the middle of nowhere. I have taken a video of this cottage before, and there's old MacDonald's farm by the look of it. Geese, chicken, dogs, and a little pony there. Very little pony. At this point, I'll leave the that cottage and the silos. I'll leave that lane and go onto this farm track. I'll only go along here for 100 yards or so, and then I'll take a footpath which climbs that hill up through that wooded part of the hill, and then I'll actually go up and see if I can see any signs of that hill fort. This is where I branch off this track and go through there. Looks like it's, well, unfortunately the time of the year, it's overgrown. You see the path is pretty overgrown, but so far it's passable. In the winter it'll be no problem, but this time of year the grass and the ferns reach their maximum height. So far so good. There's the hill ahead of me, just this bit of a rough patch, and but it shouldn't be too bad. There's another isolated cottage. There's a path that goes down there, but I came that way, and I'll be going up here quite steeply for, well, close to 300 feet, I think, to the top of the hill. I mean, there's a nice gate, this footpath, and here's a typical hillside Welsh oak wood. I'm breaking out of the oak hillside wood and into the open, and this footpath is quite clear. You can see quite a large ship about 2 miles off the coast, 2 or 3 miles off the coast there, which is unusual in this part of the coast. There's your trusty footpath sign, and I've just come up through those ferns. and I'll be going over towards that hilltop. I think I can see St. Patrick's Causeway going way over into the distance, distant horizon on the, it's kind of like, well, it looks like a current. But I believe it's actually a causeway that's beneath the surface of the sea, but I don't know if you can pick out there. There's quite a large boat, which you don't often see in this area. Okay, I'm on the summit of this hill, and it's an excellent all-round view. The Rinnogs, of course, the Artro Valley. Down there, it's a little pile of stones which marks the summit. Although the top of this hill is fairly flat, there's very little that I can see from here of the settlement or hill fort that apparently was here at one time. Okay, there's no actual footpath, but I should be able to make my way down to that farm there, where there is a footpath that runs, the right of way that runs through, and then go back to the car, which is over there. There is a line of boulders and a somewhat raised bank, but it might be more obvious in the winter months when the ferns have disappeared. Okay, this is I'm on the premises of Penarth. There's a right of way through here. There's the silhouette of the hill I've just descended. And most of these farms have watchdogs, which of course in prehistoric times would have been very useful to warn of anyone approaching enemies. Just came round the side of that house. I may have disturbed a gentleman who was outside. He disappeared inside when he saw me coming. You can see there are farm buildings here, but whether it's actually, well, yes, it's bound to be used as a farm still, or at least the buildings are, the farm buildings. Sunny weather continues, and there's Mulvera. There's a right of way that goes up that track that I'll go along this, well, basically a road, and goes along here for less than half a mile, and then I turn left on another lane and back to my car. I don't know if you can make out, but down there was, I think at one time, an attempt to have a motorcycle track to set up a landowner, local, wanted to set up a motorcycle race course or scramble track. Luckily that didn't come to anything apparently. Though I did hear some motorbikes at one time used to go up and down along this particular track. But that stopped, so for somebody like me that likes peace and quiet, there's a nice fishing lake just down there, just over 100 yards. There's that lake. There is fish in it, and somebody's parked a caravan, and a small caravan with a canoe, so he may be come out here to do some occasional fishing. There's another caravan, but this has long been abandoned. It's been there ever since I've lived up here. We have reached this Penarth, the gate to Penarth, and there's proof positive that I was on the right of way. So here's the lane that goes down to Artro Valley, but I'm gradually uphill for less than half a mile, and I'll be back at the car. There's the Rinogs in the late afternoon sun. There's it's a second home, I think, rather than a holiday cottage, but not quite as isolated as the others. So I've got this on a video before, because I ended a walk. I came down that lane there in the previous video. Okay, basically that's the end of this walk. There, in the distance you can see the hill by the settlement, which I couldn't really distinguish. According to the Ordnance Survey, there's a settlement on the top.